everybody, Bonehead for the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Top 5 Friday. On a Friday, we get together and we have a look at the top 5, something normally to do with Blood Bowl. Now, we're picking up a bit of a thread that's been going on for a few weeks here. This is actually a rehash of a video that we did 4 years ago. Now, we are 4 years deeper into Blood Bowl 2020, and the question is, what are the top 5 starter teams for Blood Bowl? So if you're watching this channel and you're like, I want to get my friend into Blood Bowl, which team do I give them? Or you're coming into Blood Bowl yourself and you're thinking, how do I get into Blood Bowl? Which is the best way to go for it? Now, we covered this on the podcast last week and we spent a good hour talking through a whole bunch of stuff around what you need to consider. But we're going to distill it down and have a look at the 2025 version of the top 5 teams for starters. Number 5, we've got Undead. Now, this is an interesting one. I looked at the comments of the last video, I looked at the comments of our poll, and I looked at the comments of the podcast. Undead, they, I think, deserve to be on this list for a couple of reasons. One, and a really good reason, is you get the whole box, basically. Like, you pick up a box, you get 14 guys. The only thing you're going to want to add is potentially another 2 ghouls later on. But if you buy a necromantic team, as you develop your Blood Bowl skills, you kind of going to end up with 2 teams with full positionals. It's just the best way to do it. But the great thing about Undead for starters is, yeah, the box is great. You've got a lot of your key skills. Now, there's some downsides to Undead, but you've got a lot of the key skills right out the bat. You've got block on your blitzers, you've got dodge on your runners, and you've got mighty blow and the big strength 5 pieces of the mummies. There is a little bit of a downside when it comes to Undead, which is you do have low agility, low speed on some of your players. But the huge benefit of Undead for a starter team is they are resilient as you like. The whole team is tough. It's got regeneration. Well, okay, not the ghouls, but the whole team, they've got dodge, right? So the whole team is really resilient. Now, while the low movement can punish you, when you are Undead, you are never out of the fight. Like, you've always got something you want to be doing. Your blitzers, got good range, you've got block, they can fight. Your ghouls have got a bit of dodge, they've got a bit of movement, they've got a bit of option, you still can play the score. Your mummies can still threaten to do the removal thing, and your zombies are just fantastic at putting next to a guy and hoping that they don't die. So when it comes to starter teams for Blood Bowl, I do like Undead in the top 5. They've got a very, very cool style to them as well. Like, they play out like you'd expect, and from a theme point of view, it's really a really fun thing to go to. So we've put together this top list, and number 5 is Undead. Coming in at number 4, we've got Chaos Chosen. There is another team that we'll mention at the end of the video that fits in this category as well, so I'm sure you can figure it out as we go. But like, the Chaos Chosen team is a brilliant all-rounder. The downside, you've got no skills. No skills, literally no skills, with the exception of Horn. But what you do have is everybody's Edge 3+. Everybody's got a role and everybody's got reasonable movement, reasonable strength, reasonable resilience. The advantage of Chaos Chosen being a starter team is they can win, they can grind, they can fight, they can do all the stuff you need them to do, but it's based on stats, not skills. So as we look down the list, there are other teams that perform potentially better because they've got those skills, which is a very important part of Blood Bowl. But the teams that are all stat, all muscle, all the core of Blood Bowl, right, the core mechanics, it's actually a really good place to start. And when it comes to Chaos Chosen, you've also got that little bit of spice where you can introduce a big guy. So if you are starting in Blood Bowl, you don't need a big guy for Chaos Chosen. You absolutely do not. Arguably, they perform better without one. But what it does mean is you can play Chaos Chosen, you can get some good blitzes, you've got some really good players in the Chaos Warriors. And then over time, you can go and actually add a Minotaur or an Ogre, build that identity for your team. And you're going to learn how to run it. You're going to learn positioning with strength. And I think that just overall, having the simplicity of that roster, I think is really, really, really useful. It's got a cool identity too. You've got some cool beastmen, you've got the big Chaos Warriors, and you can add the big guy. Chaos Chosen are a really solid team. And they are very simple too, which I think is why they're ending up at number 4. Number 3, it's Dark Elves. Okay, so we talked about this on the podcast. We were like, right, you've got this team, you've got that team, this team's good, that, you know, plus side, downside. And we talked about Elves. And if you've played Blood Bowl for a while, you'll know that Elves have a very big high side, right? The top level of Elves is brilliant. They're fast, they're agile, they do stuff all of the time. The downside of Elves is that when they get caught, they can snowball. The team will die, okay? So if you're talking about like some of the other elf teams, they are very easy to, you can get in a hole real quick with them. Now, Dark Elves, and why I think they're such a good starter team for Blood Bowl, is on the one hand, you've got the fact that they're elves, so there is an identity there for people who are coming in from other systems. Dark Elves are kind of cool, but you've got that high edge, medium movement. Okay, you've got some movement 7. The blitzers are some of the best positionals in the game. The witch elves are some of the most terrifyingly threatening positionals in the game. The roster itself comes with edge 2+ across the board, which is going to give a new player it's going to keep them kind of in the fight. They're always going to have options, and quite frankly, when it comes to Blood Bowl, there is no greater lesson than anything but a 1. Like the sentence of anything but a 1. So coming in and having that straight away, 2+ to pick up, you're always going to pick up the ball except for when you don't. Making a dodge, 2+, you're always going to dodge except for when you don't. It's a really powerful lesson, but the advantage of Dark Elves here is while you've got all that block, you've got some dodge, you've got all the stuff that you need to kind of put together to learn the core basics of Blood Bowl, they're pretty resilient as far as elves go. You've got those 4 blocking Dark Elf blitzers. You've got linemen with reasonable armor. Like, you've always got options. So as a new player, that is really kind of like, okay, I've got easy dodges to make, and if I fall over, it's not the end of the world. Basically, you get the upside of running elves without the downside of them being fragile as you like. Now, you're still going to lose a witch elf. You're still going to lose a lineman every game. But that's only 9 players. There are some other elf teams that you could, you know, it's going to be worse. Anyway, Dark Elves always give you option, and the additional benefit here is if you bring in a player in and they're liking the high edge side, Dark Elves are really competitive. So you can bring them in with a team that actually they can win with, and that's also kind of really important for some players. So yeah, number 3, it's Dark Elves. And coming in at number 2, we have got Orcs. Orcs. Now, while you have to buy 2 boxes of Orcs to get all the big and blockers and all the blitzers, and if you go in with Games Workshop, all those positionals are going to look exactly the same, that's not a bad thing for a new player. But the real beautiful thing here about Orcs is you've got a lot of what we've talked about with the teams that we've seen so far, okay? You don't have a huge amount of speed, but the great thing about Orcs as a starter roster is they are resilient, and for the most part, they are forgiving. You've got 4 strength 4 blockers who have still got movement 5. So even if they get a little bit left behind, there's still got enough movement to take a 2-die blitz to get you back into the game. You've got 4 Orc blitzers who are only movement 6, but you've got 4 blockers with armor 25 that are never going to die, and they're never going to be out of the fight. Edge 3+ means you've got 4 blitzing ball carriers straight away, 4 blocking ball carriers straight away, 4 strength 4 pieces straight away. And if you're bringing players into Blood Bowl and or you go the thrower route, you've got that sure hands element there as well. So if you do run an Orc team with, I don't know, 4 blitzers, 4 black Orcs, 2 linemen, a thrower, 2 rerolls, 4 block, 4 high strength to teach you how to make 2-die blocks. Going to be really beneficial to kind of understand blocking, and a piece of sure hands there for the actual throwing, not the throwing element, well, a little bit of throwing element, but for the ball control element. The roster is going to be really useful for teaching that. And when it comes to Orcs, you've got a couple of extra benefits with these guys as well. You can add a big guy. You can add the troll. So if you're teaching Blood Bowl, or if you're coming into Blood Bowl, you can start with your core team. I've learned how this is. I'm going to try out the troll roster and see what happens. Really stupid, interesting to manage. Strength 5 Mighty Blow is a huge benefit to a team that's then got 4 Strength 4 blockers and a Strength 5 blocker. It can really maul. Or you can go the other way and you can add a couple of stunties to get that movement 6 dodge 3++ stunty element in there. It's the team that kind of expands. You can go different routes with Orcs, and I think coming into the game, that's really great. Then you've got the most obvious thing in the world, which is that Orcs have such a huge identity in every fantasy world, right? And when it comes to Warhammer Fantasy Battle, whether you're playing actual Warhammer or Age of Sigmar, Pretend Hammer, like, Orcs are cool. They have a thing, they have a vibe. And that, I think, is awesome to bring people in for. And lastly, for Orcs, dude, these guys nearly ended up number 1 on this list. They're really competitive. So you've got the additional benefit here of, in a league, they're going to be in the fight. You are not going to be penalised for running Orcs. And they are quite potent at tournaments as well. So as you develop as a Blood Bowl player, or as your friend develops as a Blood Bowl player, they've got a team that they can learn to win with and actually win with. They can really compete in the long game. So it's kind of like an expandable team that's got the legs on it as well. So Orcs, number 2. Which brings us to number 1, and it's not a stunty team. This is Humans. Humans have been the quintessential starter team for Blood Bowl since, I don't know, 2nd edition, maybe 1st edition. Since they've been producing box sets with models in, Humans have been so key. And they combine almost everything we've talked about on the rest of the list. Orcs and Humans were so close on this roster for me. Orcs, you've got the resilience. Humans are still pretty resilient, but what Humans gives you that Orcs don't is, one, okay, the identity that you are a human and that is a human team. The Humans look like the sports people that you see on TV, so there's kind of like another element of like, okay, I'm a human, I'm the good guy. Okay, I've got human sports people, those are human sports people. Okay, that makes sense. But the toolkit that the human roster has shows you, I think, more elements of the game of Blood Bowl than Orcs do. Okay, Orcs don't really have a passing game. Human thrower is not the best thrower in the game, but is right up there. So you've got one of the best throwers in the game. You've got 4 blockers. 4 blocking blitzers, right? Then you've got some catchers who are fast, so they've got lower strength, but they've got higher movement and dodge and catch. It's really simple. So as you learn the game, as you learn the stats, as you learn the skills, it's really simple to go, okay, so my thrower gets the ball because he's got sure hands, and then my thrower passes the ball because he's got pass. And I'm not being penalised this because I've got the right skills and the right stats to do so, and I'm going to pass the ball. He's going to throw it to my catcher, who's going to catch the ball because he's got catch, and then he's going to dodge away because he's got dodge, and he's going to go really fast because he's got movement 8 squares. Like, it just provides itself. It provides loads of teaching opportunities. So you've got standard blocking, you've got 4 great blitzers at movement 7, you've got the thrower, you've got the catches, then you can take the halflings, you can take the ogres, so you still get the element of, I'm going to bring in a brawling big guy to murder, or I'm going to bring in a halfling to run around and throw and then add throw teammate. So Humans do everything that the Orcs do, but they do it a little bit wider and a little bit further because you've got a lot of different options there. And quite frankly, the troll just isn't as good as the ogre, because the ogre is best. Where's the... Oh, we don't have the logo. Oh, 2-headed ogres are even better than 1-headed ogres. So yes, Humans retain their crown. The downside is that Humans actually aren't quite as good at tournaments, but I mean, by that point you can kind of go with a different team. But I do think that Humans are still going to give you one of the best getting into the game experiences. They don't have the top side that other teams do, they don't have the resilience that other teams do, but they are the ultimate all-rounders. All right, there's 30 teams in Blood Bowl if you include the Slan, or 29 teams. Yeah, there's about 30 teams in Blood Bowl if you include this LAN. And there are a few that I wouldn't recommend starting out with, but it really does depend on whatever team you or your friend, or whoever's coming into Blood Bowl, wants to play. If they come in and they love Skaven, give them the Skaven team. I fought to put Skaven on this top 5, but the guys kind of did talk me off the ledge a little bit. Like, Skaven, the upside is all there, but you've got to kind of gel with Skaven, because if you get it slightly wrong, you will die and then you will no longer be playing Blood Bowl. The upside, amazing. The floor pretty low on Skaven. Lizards are the team I was considering to put in place of Chaos Chosen when we first did the roster. Lizards, I don't know if they were kicking around or not. Now Chaos Chosen though, they have just that better agility. Like it's just more simple stat lines. You can get yourself in trouble with Sauruses because that Edge 5+ is trash. They're better movement, sure, but the Chaos Chosen, it gives you that kind of better starting point. I do not mind Lizards as a learner team. I think the upside can be really good. You can make loads of good blocks, you can make loads of good runs, but your runners can't really block and your blockers cannot run. So it's kind of like you can get yourself in a bit of a hole in that regard. But for me, yeah, I think that top 5 is right. Skaven, Lizardman, definitely sitting on the edges of that. But quite frankly, if you're coming into Blood Bowl, pick a team you like the look of. You will learn Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl will teach itself to you. There is nothing you can do to stop it except play and pray. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comments below, and we'll be back again soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking.